Ta is for taqwa, bewaring of Allah, and Tha is for thawab, a reward. Ja is for Jannah, the garden of
Assalamu
paradise.
alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Welcome to your weekly guide, Light of Islam. I am Aisha Ahmed.
As Muslims, we know that in Islam, time is a very good and important commodity that we have.
Believe in the angels of God as one of the 6 articles of faith.
Promises made form rows, and how the rows are made is such that the Imam stands in front and then right behind him.
Assalamu alaikum, this is Light of Islam. Keep watching Light of Islam and
Za is for zakah, to cure our greed, when we give our money to those in need.
I welcome you on today's ride on the show Good Morning Abuja.
This is Window on Abuja.
We have everything it takes to compete with any nation all across the world.
How do we make it? We are not ready to produce.
I've been contributing to the development of your kingdom.
Hello and welcome to Young Hearts.
Our focus today will be on hepatitis B. Ladylike!
This is Entertainment Gist. Welcome back from that break. The program is still Good Morning Abuja, and it's time for us to have a very interesting conversation now, one that borders on something that concerns everybody. Yes, we're talking about public health, how to get public health, and how we're able to extend this to the universal coverage of health itself. This morning, I'm going to be having this conversation with Dr. Ayodele Bankole James, who is the Registrar and CEO of African Institute of Public Health Professionals. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Yes. And of course, we are joined by the lovely and beautiful Betta Owakwe, who is also the Director of Membership Services, African Institute of Public Health Professionals. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Generally, we Nigerians, we know how important we treat our health. Unfortunately, there are issues that arises that sometimes puts this desire for a healthy body, mind, and state into jeopardy. And that is why the beautiful work both of you are doing at the African Institute of Public Health is quite commendable.
Thank you.
Yes. So let's begin our conversation this morning, especially coming from you, Dr. Ayodele. It's really kind of a challenge when you see people who should be able to get medical services unable to access it, either due to lack of funds or the mere fact that the facilities that should offer these medical services are far from them. And so my question this morning is centered around understanding what universal health coverage is about. So let me ask, what does it mean, and how does universal health coverage tie to the SDG Goal 3?
Fine. Thank you very much. Talking about universal health coverage, we are saying making health services available to everybody in the country, without financial hardship or inconvenience.
Yes.
For everybody to be able to access health services. I think that's about it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, at the African Institute of Public Health Professionals, you guys brainstorm. You do a lot of thinking. You do a lot of testing of hypotheses, trying to create theories to see what model would best capture this definition or this explanation that Dr. Ayodele has given us about the universal health coverage. And in this regard, you have a colloquium coming up. And now I would like to hear from Beta. Tell us more about this colloquium and why do you feel it should happen now, given the fact that we are having a challenge in attaining this universal health coverage?
All right, thank you very much. The colloquium will be coming up on the 24th of September
Okay.
at the Merit House. I think I should use this opportunity to invite the general public
Okay.
to be there.
All right.
And the theme we are considering is the attainment of universal health coverage in Africa by the year 2030.
Oh, that's less than 6 years from now.
So we're asking a question if it's a might or is going to be a reality.
Okay.
That's the question we are asking. So I think the theme is apt.
Okay.
It's very necessary and it's even very important looking at the time frame. 2030 is just barely 6 years
Yes, that's what I
from now. And then when we are 2020, we think 2030 rather is still very far. It's barely 6 years from now. So we have to keep talking about it if we actually want to make it a reality in Africa, considering the challenges that we are faced with in the health sector in Africa, talking about brain drain and the rest of it. So it's something that we have to keep talking about. It's every citizen's right in Africa to have access to quality health care with or without financial burden, without financial burden rather. So we have to keep talking about it. So our leaders will hear and they will start acting towards that. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. It's interesting how you coined this particular theme for this colloquium that is coming up. But now let me quickly ask Dr. Bankole. We are having a challenge with how our policies are designed. So the people in our health sector, how do you feel? What would be your advice to policymakers in as regards designing policies that should help us attain this universal health coverage? Like Beta mentioned, she said something about the fact that we need to keep talking about it, and if we begin to walk the talk, then it's going to be realizable. Now, the people who would actually do this work are our policymakers. If, as she said, the allocation to health is given the due consideration and increased, we might be able to meet it. So let's share some of your thoughts as regards what you think our policymakers should be doing in designing policies for health coverage.
Thank you very much. Has been a great concern to us, health professionals across the continent of Africa. The irresponsible attitude of most of the leaders, especially in sub-Saharan African countries, towards health sector. Like I always say, a leader or a country that is serious about health will not budget 4%, 3% to health sector. It was in Abuja here that the declaration was made in 2001. 54 countries in Africa agreed that 15% should be budgeted to health sector. But what do we have now? It's so unfortunate that most of the country, they don't go by the declaration. We only have 3 countries in Africa. We have Eritrea, we have Mauritius, we have Seychelles that have been able to meet this benchmark. And of course, when you look at the problem of brain drain, as she rightly mentioned, is one of brain drain in the health sector. As she mentioned is one of the serious problems in the health sector. We train most of our health workers, but what we have in return, they, they leave the country in search of greener pasture. And of course, like I always say, they are not missionary. They need to live a better life. And when you look at the issue of IDP too, it's one of the problems to attaining the universal health coverage. Let's talk about Sudan. Sudan has over 9 million in IDP camp. Yes, the worst in the world, more than the crisis raging in Afghanistan. And of course, we know the health challenges in the camps. In the camp, both communicable and non-communicable diseases. And of course, coming down home here in Nigeria, the statistic shows that we are having 2.4, if I'm not mistaken, in the hybrid plan. So, the policy maker, when it comes to budgetary allocation, when it comes to retaining the retention of health workers, we need to look critically into that.
Okay. For us to be appreciated over there, it means the quality of our teaching and learning here for our medical doctors is good, and how we practice is exceptional and commendable. But how do we now stop this brain drain?
Well,
if we are to attain universal health coverage you're talking about, we need to provide solution to the brain drain issue.
Okay, so there are several ways that brain drain can be stopped.
Okay.
Or even if it's not stopped completely, because you won't force people to live the life they desire to live. Even after they have gained education in a particular country, they decide to live, they will live. But ways we can actually retain brain drain, or strategies to retain brain drain in Africa, is first, our leaders, African leaders, have to provide an enabling environment for healthcare workers to thrive. Like you mentioned, your friend is coming all the way from Suleja to National Hospital in town. So you can imagine the distance and then the number of hours he has to spend on the road. By the time he gets to the hospital, he's already exhausted. So what energy will he now use to attend to patients in the hospital? So they should provide an enabling environment for them to thrive by at least giving them a housing scheme in town, especially close to. I remember before now, there used to be doctors' quarters in the hospitals. So they don't even need to drive to the office. And whenever you call them, they will just go to the clinic and attend to patients. But imagine somebody that has to come all the way from Suleja. He may not even come. And he may even end up switching off his phone because of security issue. That is not guaranteed for him. A few weeks ago, we heard on air that some doctors were kidnapped. So they are also humans, even though they are professionals. They are also humans. And then there should be an increase in their incentives, increase in salary. They need to be appreciated and encouraged to go about their jobs as healthcare professionals. I'm not talking about just medical doctors now. I'm talking about the pharmacists, nurses, dentists, medical doctors, and even public health professionals, because these people are very important people in our society.
Exactly. There's so much that we can look at and discuss, especially as we are talking about universal health coverage for all by the year 2030. I love the fact that the target set for us to attain this is just 6 years away. So it's a call to action for everybody. You, me, all of us, we need to just put on our thinking cap, ensure that we are making the right moves and efforts to see that by 2030 there's universal coverage for all. I share in the optimism that you've expressed better, and thank you so much, Dr. Ayodele, for bringing your expertise and professionalism from the African Institute of Public Health professionals to see to it that health is not one of the challenges that Africans should bother about. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Attaining universal health coverage by the year 2030 is the target that has been set by the professionals of the African Institute of Public Health Professionals, led this morning by Dr. Bankole. And of course, we have Beta Wakwe also with us. Thank you both for coming.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so let's quickly go on this very short break. I'm sure the colloquium is one you make time to attend, given the fact that Beta has already made a public invitation to everyone. So please go there, make your contributions, or learn from the people who are making contributions, and let's do this together. Let's go on this very short break. The program is still Good Morning Abuja, and there's a lot more coming on the show. I welcome you on today's ride on the show Good Morning Abuja.
This is Window on Abuja.
We have everything it takes to compete with any nation all across the world.
How do we make it? We are ready to produce.
I've been contributing to the development of your kingdom.
Hello and welcome to Young Hearts. Our focus today will be on hepatitis B. Ladylike!
This is Entertainment Gist.
La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah.
With the peace and blessings of Allah be upon each and every one of us. It's another fantastic Friday evening, and you're welcome to NTA Channel 5 Abuja.
First of all, you train yourself, you educate yourself, then you educate your family, and then the community at large.
Fundamentals of Islam Live, showing 7:30 p.m. every Friday on NTA Channel 5 Abuja, the Unity Station. Join us.
Welcome back from that break. The program is still Good Morning Abuja, and I am about to have a very interesting conversation. Interesting in the sense that perhaps every statement I make, every sentence I make will be checked for grammatical errors and pronunciation defects, and that makes me super nervous. You know what it's like when you sit with your teacher and get tutored once again, even after leaving the classroom a long time ago. This morning, I have the one I'll describe first as a teacher, the person of Professor Gabriel Igbe, the chairman, English Language Teachers Association of Nigeria, and also that is of the Abuja chapter, and he's also the provost of the postgraduate school Veritas University, Abuja. Good morning, and thank you for coming on the show, sir.
Thank you very much, Labaran.
Yes, I said you are a teacher first because that is what you are. You've been imparting this knowledge for a very long time. And for some of us who have had the chance of listening to you, we know we have to check our diction, our pronunciations when we are around you. Worse is if you have to write him something and your I's and T's are not dotted or properly crossed. You come under fire. It is a pleasure having you here in the studio this morning, sir.
Thank you very much, Labaran.
Yeah, so, teaching English language is so much fun. Yes, carries a lot of challenges. And it's worthy to note that English language is the official lingua franca of the Nigerian country, that is the Nigerian nation. So let's share your thoughts now. What's, in your opinion, has been your experience like teaching English language, challenges, and the parts you've enjoyed the most?
Okay, thank you so much for this privilege. Let me start by saying that in the context of Nigeria,
yes,
English can be a little bit problematic.
Oh, yes, it will be.
Because we are confronted with what I would call different Englishes. Now we have the British English.
Yes.
We have the American English. Then we have the Nigerian English.
Yes.
So sometimes you ask yourself, which English? But for the sake of the senior secondary school examination, WAEC, NECO, and all of those, they would like to prefer British English, even though they also allow room for American English.
Okay.
So, for example, if you're grading SS3 scripts for WAEC or NECO, they will tell you if the student is using American English, let it be consistent. If he's using British English, let it be consistent. Not to mix the two.
Because there's no consideration for Nigerian English.
That's why I was coming to that point. Yes, there is no. They always say if you have such expressions, you just underline it. You don't really penalize it as such. You just underline it.
Okay.
As maybe some kind of stylistic use of language.
Okay.
Yeah, but some of us, like I am in particular, I'm advocating for the use of Nigerian English.
Wonderful.
Because that English has come and they have become a variety of English recognized in what we call the continuum of world Englishes. So Nigerian English is a variety of its own and should not be played down or looked down as if it's an inferior variety to either American English or British English or Australian English. So I think that the time has come because we have used English to a point where Nigerian English is an accepted variety. And I think we should begin to rethink what English to use in Nigeria and recognize that variety as valid.
Yes.
And promote it.
I am 100% for you, Prof, because when we look at it, considering the fact that across the world today, celebrities, people from outside our own country, our continent, are beginning to identify with our English because they find it fascinating and they are able to express themselves more. There's a way you express yourself in the Nigerian English context that if you intend to do it in the British English, you will not be able to do justice to how you're feeling at that moment. So in this case, we'd like to say kudos to our entertainers, our musicians, performers, artists, and our footballers. We see big football teams like Galatasaray, Napoli, and the rest of them even tweeting in broken English, or what we call pidgin English. Well, let's move on with the interview. Your association, now I'm talking about the Association of Nigeria, that is the English Language Teachers Association of Nigeria. You recently, in partnership with the British Council, came up and started advocating for the use of ICT in English language teaching. Yes, especially in the classrooms. So share with us your thoughts about the use of ICT in teaching English language.
Yes, but yeah, that conference was held at the Federal University Lafayette.
Okay.
To really bring to the focus the need to leverage technology in the teaching of English. The fact remains that the world has moved from being paper-based,
analog,
pen-based, to digital.
Yes.
And so any teacher or learner who is not moving in that direction will be left behind. And so that was why the theme of the conference had to dwell on those aspects of technological use in teaching English. Let's say that when you talk about technological advancement, there are so many facets of it. Are you talking about the apps that you need to use? Are you talking about the technology itself? Are you talking about the devices itself? So it's a vast area.